Welcome once again to our few minutes together on the Parsha. This Shabbos we have the privilege of reading Parshas Lech Lecha, which, as the Ramban says at the beginning of the Sedra, Kol ma she'ira le'avos siman levanim, which we know as Ma'aseh avos siman levanim. The deeds of the fathers are signs to the children. And in the past few years, in the Parsha video, we discussed various aspects of that. Today, I'd like to focus on a specific element that can be found in what is known at the end, towards the end of the Sedra, as the Brit or Bris Bein Absarim, the covenant between the pieces. At this point, Hashem tells Avram that you're going to possess the land, and Avram says, "Bama Eda ki iroshena." With what will I know that I will possess the land? And Hashem tells him, "Kacholi eg glo mishuleshes, the eiz mishuleshes, the ayil mishulash." Take 3 times a calf, and 3 times a goat, and 3 times a ram, v'tzor v'gozol, and a pigeon and a turtle dove, and you should split them, except for the bird, and walk between the pieces. This is why it's called the covenant between the pieces, because in those days, they would make a brit, or an agreement, or a covenant, by walking through the pieces. And this was all, very interestingly enough, in a dream. And in the dream, Hashem comes to Avram, and he says to him, Yodoa Teda, you should surely know, Ki ger yezaracha be'eretz lo lahem, that your seed is going to be a stranger in a land not theirs. Ve'avodim ve'inu osam arba me'os shana, and they shall be afflicted and enslaved and inflicted for 400 years. And then v'gam es hagoy asher ya'avodu don anochi, and also the nation that will enslave them I will judge. V'acharei chen yetzu b'chush gadol, and afterwards they will go out with a great possession. This, of course, was a prophecy that came true in part when Klal Yisrael, when the Jewish people left Egypt, that they were strangers in that land for 400 years. They were enslaved for 210 years. They were afflicted for 116 or 86, depending on the count, years. And then they went out with great wealth. Reb Shamshon Earl Hirsch points out that there were 3 levels to this enslavement. One, of course, was the fact ki ger yehi azaracha, that your children are going to be gerim, they're going to be strangers in a land not theirs. Secondly, va'avodim, they will enslave them, so they're going to be slaves. And third, they're going to be afflicted. He puts it in the terms of gerus, avdus, and inui. Gerus meaning estrangement, avdus meaning enslavement, and inui means affliction. Actually, in all of the historical servitudes that Klal Yisrael has been through, in the litany of enslavements that have gone throughout the years, the 2,000 years of Jewish exile, you can notice this pattern. Even in the Hitlerian era, Yamach Shemo, first they were made to feel like strangers by wearing armbands, and then they were enslaved to work for the war effort, and then, of course, they were afflicted and killed. And Baruch Hashem, we were able to survive despite the terrible loss of our 6 million brothers and sisters. The interesting thing here is, if you'll take a look at the beginning of this, it says that Yodoa Teda, you should surely know. It's almost emphasizing that the Jewish people have to keep in mind, Ki ger yehi yezaracha be'eretz lo lahem. They are going to be strangers in a land not theirs. Now, there's a redundancy over here, because if they just would have said, Ki ger yehi yezaracha, that your people will be strangers, we can assume and understand that it means we're not at home. If we're at home, we're not strangers. Why does the pasuk say be'eretz lo lahem, in a land not theirs? So a number of the Mefarshim, the Ri Eger, for instance, and Rabbi Yisrael Salanter points it out. He says, Rabbi Yisrael Salanter says, you should know that one of the gifts of the exile is that the nations of the world never let us think that we were in a land that belonged to us. And Rav Eger points out that even though we were strangers, we always remembered this is not our land. Our land will always be and can never be any other land than Eretz Yisrael. And consequently, this prophecy is a prophecy that's true to this day. Ger yihiyeh zaracha be'eretz lo lehem. If you're not in Eretz Yisrael, you are not in a land that's yours. And if you'll say, but look how dangerous it is in Eretz Yisrael. Look at all the difficulties that there are in Eretz Yisrael. First of all, it's not so safe over here either. All you have to do is listen to the news, which I've learned to turn off in the morning sometimes, because all it talks about is violence. But that's not the only issue. What's even more important is that at the end result, the gam es hagoy asher ya'avodu don anochi. Also, the nation that will enslave them, says Hashem, I will judge. Ma'aseh avos siman levanim. Just as in Avram's time, this prophecy came true not long after his passing, that the Jewish people got out of Egypt, so too is it guaranteed, despite the difficulty we're going through, despite the unpleasantness, the terrible pain of listening to our brothers and sisters who are being set upon by evil terrorists, we know one thing is for sure going to happen. The nation that enslaves them, Hashem is going to judge. And Hashem should give us the wherewithal and the thinking, the proper attitude to recognize that we are all in His hands, and that we can never forget that when we're not in Eretz Yisrael, we're not at home, we've got a plan to go home, we've got to think about going maybe on solidarity missions, but certainly not to forget our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael, and remember always that v'gam es hagoy asher ya'avodu don anochi. In the end result, HaKadosh Baruch Hu matzilenu miyadam. Hashem will save us from their hand. We need a positive attitude. We've got to look ahead to the future in a way that will bring us light. And that will happen, God willing, in Yetz Hashem, when the ultimate redemption comes, as the Jews recognize that our straightforward hope and power comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Have a wonderful Shabbos.